Good here. So good afternoon, everybody. Lieutenant Governor and I just wanted to take a minute to comment on today's historic Supreme Court decision, which establishes marriage equality in all 50 states. For me, this issue has been personal for many years. As many of you know, my brother's gay and married and lives here in the Commonwealth, and it's been unfortunate that the residents of all 50 states haven't been able to enjoy that opportunity that he's had here in the Bay State. As a result of that, in March, the Lieutenant Governor and I both signed on to an amicus brief in support of the same-sex marriage question when we learned that the court would be dealing with this, taking up 4 cases associated with same-sex marriage. And then we waited. And then we waited some more. And in the course of the last few days, we've actually had several conversations sort of looking at the calendar and thinking to ourselves, it's getting pretty close to the end of the term here. I wonder what's taken so long. Well, today we know the answer, and I'm pleased that the Commonwealth, which has already recognized same-sex marriage, is now one of 50 states in which same-sex marriage will be recognized. And I must say that I appreciate the work of the Supreme Court on this issue, and it's yet another example of the incredibly important role that the federal government can play changing people's lives. Here in the Commonwealth, this has been the law for many years, but it's now law everywhere. And that makes this a very special and great day for the country and for the Commonwealth, and for all those who are simply looking for an opportunity to marry the person they love. Thanks very much.
Governor,
Go ahead.
were you surprised?
I was pleased. I wouldn't say that I was surprised. I mean, the reason Karen and I signed on to the amicus brief that we reviewed a few months ago in the first place was we thought, A, it represented our views and our points of view on this, but B, it was also an incredibly well-developed case with respect to what the issue at hand was. And as I said, I'm very pleased with the outcome.
There are many members of your own party who have yet to come around to this nationally. What would you say to them as somebody who is a Republican and does support this?
I think it's unfortunate that everybody doesn't see this issue the same way I do. But I get the fact that in life and politics, people aren't always going to agree with each other 100% of the time. I always thought Barney Frank had the best statement on this, which is if you want your representative to agree with you 100% of the time, run for office. But that said, I certainly am a big believer in the decision that was made today, and I was pleased to join with many of my colleagues in the Republican Party, including my Lieutenant Governor, who signed on to that amicus brief back in March.
Do you think there's enough political leadership in the Republican Party on this issue?
I certainly think there are a number of leaders in the Republican Party on this issue. I wish there were more leaders in the Democratic Party who saw charter schools the same way I see them. But I think fundamentally, from my point of view, this is a good day for the Commonwealth, a great day for the country, and an especially great day for all those who would like to have the same opportunity that Lauren Baker and I had to get married.
I guess it doesn't really need Republican leadership now anyways, because the law of the land says that gay marriage is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the courts, one of the great things about or the not so great things, depending upon your point of view, about the Supreme Court is that they are the ultimate arbiter of decisions like this. And on this one, I'm pleased they made the decision they made.
I was curious, you were talking about you were waiting, you were watching a couple of days, getting toward the end of what were you weren't surprised. What were your sort of thoughts on, did you think they wouldn't take it up, or they would turn it down? You were talking about how you were waiting for a decision.
Well, this
hesitation or anxiety.
Well, the Supreme Court's an interesting place because they make decisions to take cases up. They have public hearings on them, and then they deliberate. And that deliberation process is, as it should be, a quiet one. But the calendar obviously was winding down, and And we've actually had conversations in the last few days about the fact that, geez, I'd sure like to see this one resolved before the end of the session.
What do you make of the two decisions that were made, obviously with the Obamacare and this? What does it tell you about the court itself, if anything?
Well, again, the Obamacare decision for the Commonwealth was a welcome decision, but not one that changed the rules of the game at all with respect to our situation here.
It was the same with this decision as well, actually.
Yeah, but I certainly think they often take until the end of the session before they put out some of the bigger questions that are before them, and those were obviously both big ones.
Governor, have you spoken with your brother about this meeting today?
I haven't. I just literally came out of a cabinet meeting. Karen and I were in until we walked down the stairs. So I'm looking forward to talking to him.
What do you think his reaction will be?
Hoorah!
Lieutenant Governor, you've had most of the time around evolution like this, so she can speak a little bit about how you feel about this.
Sure. I have to say I'm very happy today. Across our country, people will have the opportunity to get married. Certainly, Massachusetts, a pioneer in this area. You know, personally, I celebrated my 20th wedding anniversary with my husband this week, and you know that's an anniversary celebration that not only more people here in the Commonwealth can celebrate, but now across our country. So it's a victory for our Commonwealth, a victory for our country, and I was very pleased to have signed on to the amicus brief and now to see the decision today.
Last question.
Governor, can you talk about the problem with the RMV? Is that something you should talk about?
Long story short, the registry had a technology breakdown this morning. I believe that at this point all systems are up and operating again, and we obviously have a lot of work to do there. We've made clear from the day I took office, I talked about this in my inaugural address, that we have a lot of work to do to improve the quality of the customer service and the capability of the systems and the operation at the RMV, and that's obviously a big issue for us over the course of the next couple of years. And I want to apologize to all those people who ended up getting caught in this today. And we are obviously going to do whatever we can to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Governor, sorry if you covered this before I got in here, but the Chief Justice Roberts, the dissent, says that the decision really just goes a little too far on a states' rights argument. Do you think there's any merit to that?
Chief Justice Roberts has spent a lot more time thinking about the law than I have. I guess what I would say in response to that is I think it's unfortunate that because of the issues associated with this particular question on a state-by-state basis, you put couples and you put people in a position where a legally binding and recognized marriage and all that comes with that in one state could be considered null and void if you moved and lived in another state, or you had, God forbid, a medical issue when you were on vacation or traveling in another state, and your ability to actually visit the person in the other state in a hospital might be denied because you weren't considered to be family in the other state. I think as a practical matter, the court did the right thing by simply saying that we are one nation, and on an issue like this, across all 50 states, we should treat everybody with the same standard and the same equality and the same criteria, and that is to legalize it in all 50 states, which I think is the right decision.
Okay, thanks, everybody. We gotta get going.
Take care, guys. Good to see you. Who asked me about my brother? Who asked me about my brother? The official. Wait, Google it. The official first gay brother of the Commonwealth is very happy today.
Good. Ready for summer? Yeah.